You sound manlier.
Yeah. Exactly, because we all knew that was one of Israel's downfall.
Right.
We're like, how?
Sound
in
like
the last podcast meeting, we're
child.
like, how can we make
like a
Israel
newborn
sound
babe.
manlier?
How can we make him sound like more like Willem Dafoe from the Green Goblin?
Yeah.
In times of old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, and you will.
Okay, are we ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about horrible things.
Yes. We're all gonna die!
What a disaster. No, we're not talking about this podcast. You know what? I'm going to leave. It's fine.
Yeah, that was a terrible joke.
It was.
Well, anyways, hello everyone.
Hey, welcome
and
back.
welcome back to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, the action, the military,
and the pop culture.
The pop culture.
All of the pop cultures.
All of the pop cultures. My name is Cameron Fath. Thank you for being here in your cars. And with me as always.
Thank you for being Israel right in your cars. I'm a car.
Yes, you're a car. And not only are you a car, you're a Toyota.
I am. I'm the Toyota Tundra of podcast episode
Yeah,
hosts.
that's what Chris was saying earlier. Yes. Anyways, today's episode. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel like making some half-ass attempt to save it.
Yay.
Disasters!
When the things go wrong.
When
Who do you call? Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Maybe the military.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I feel like we've done... This is going to be like a culmination
Yeah,
of
a bit of
multiple episodes. Because what we've done an episode about monsters.
Yep.
We've done an episode about zombies. We've done an episode about...
You're right.
Have we done weather?
Well, we haven't done bad weather ones.
We haven't done bad weather. There we go.
Weather in the military. Weather in action.
Weather and action.
Weather and weapons.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the culmination of all of those episodes because it's just about disasters.
Right.
And disasters can be,
Horrible.
whatever, the end of the world.
Yeah.
The end of the world is coming.
Or your parents getting divorced.
Yeah. Depending on how, entitled and, spoiled
How
you
bad
are.
you were. How much you loved your parents.
Exactly. Parent trap.
Yep.
Parent trap.
The parent trap is that you think your parents are good, but they're not.
Yeah, they're actually pieces of shit. But, I mean, the only thing the world loves more than a run-of-the-mill romantic comedy is a movie, TV show, or the game where the world is going to potentially end. And who is always at the front of the line to do the saving? Yes, that's right. It is the military oil men. Oil men. And they have two brothers. See, this is what happens when I try to.
It's just called Two Brothers.
This is just called Two. This is what happens when I try to read a script. I'm never reading scripts again.
Never
See,
read a script.
I
you
skip
get
line.
the impression, and then you just run with it.
Yeah, you get it. We're talking about disasters today, and military. It seems the question of the day is R. Is it R? Grammatically correct?
No, the question of the day is it's singular.
Is
yeah. R
comma,
would be multiple questions.
Is
questions
comma,
of the day
is,
are
because there's two is's here. This is what I want to say. I want to say
the
question of the
what
day
is the definition
is,
of the
comma,
word? What is the definition of the word is?
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to say is not Israel. I forgot my train of thought. I totally forgot what I was saying. This is bad.
Listen, folks. We're trying to listen. The world's ending, and what role is the military? I thought you were going to ask, because I'm thinking like, is it the military's fault? Are there ever any movies or video games or TV shows where it's the military's fault?
No, I'm not.
There is one.
That.
I got one on the list here actually, where it is.
What, like World War Z?
No, The Mist.
The Mist. Yeah, that isn't. Oh, not to be confused with The Fog.
Not to be confused with The Fog. This is the different consistency of smoky vapors.
Stuff.
No, because you know what? Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just jump in there? Why don't we jump
My
into
question.
The
I
Mist?
remember what I was trying to say,
Okay,
but the grammar f***ed me up because it was like the question of the day is, comma, is the military the savior for disasters?
Right.
That's
who do
what
they
I'm
call
trying to say.
on? Usually not the military. Sometimes the military.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say yes because every logistically Yes, the military is used religiously because I'm trying to think.
I think writers usually when they think about logistics of how to get things done and getting people from one place to another, like in World War Z with Brad Pitt, it's the military. They have the logistics, they have the manpower and the equipment to conceivably get a lot of different stuff done. So they just kind of shove them into that writers kind of shove them into that role, where they are the ones, because obviously we know that military has a large budget, especially the U.S. military. It's usually the U.S. military that they call upon, that really gets things done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking because I just watched this movie the other day. It's that new Netflix movie, Don't Look Up, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, you watched it? How was it?
I did. I found it entertaining.
Okay.
I found it entertaining because it is such. I mean, it's a little biased because obviously it's Hollywood and
sure,
it's more politically like left.
Sure.
But there's a lot of elements of it that you're just like, yeah, we are f***ing stupid. Like today's generation of people are
a bit of a dark comedy.
It's extremely dark comedy.
Yeah, okay.
And it's pretty much, I mean, the basis of it, like they discovered this comet, it's coming, and like scientists have like confirmed. And, like, the president is, like... It's definitely, like, a f*** you to, like, the Trump administration.
Oh, okay.
Like,
is she a Republican? Is Glenn Close?
Yeah, pretty much that. And they're just like, yeah, we're just going to sit here and assess until, our people do it. Because, we have Ivy Leaguers, and you're from Michigan State, and you're saying you know this? And then it's, like, the whole political, just... split down the middle where like there's people that are like the comet doesn't exist, it's something that the government is
they're anti-comets.
Yeah, they're anti-comets. And then there's people that are like it's literally just look up, it's in the sky. And there's people that are like don't look up, it's just a political team to control you. And then like the end of the movie pretty much the comet's real, and they like a company that's like mimicking the big like an Amazon, if you will, is just like, yeah, no, we're gonna use our rockets because this. Not only are we going to save the human world, there's actually like $32 trillion worth of resources that we could use to like do cell phones and products and all this on the comet. So everyone's like, oh, you mean there's like a lot of money that we can make off this comet? So they're like, we're not going to deflect it anymore. We're going to try to land.
So capitalism.
Yeah, so capitalism basically sparks off of it. And instead of trying to save people, they're like, no, we're going to break the comet apart, and we're going to like take all the money because there's trillions of dollars, and we don't have to worry about China anymore, like, because they control all these mines.
Right.
But at the end,
I actually don't want to watch this movie now.
Yeah, no, at the end, it's like everybody dies. Yeah, they're just like, well, because they were greedy and they like
because of greedy and politics. Yeah,
because of greed and
couldn't
politics
get it together.
And everything. They're like, we couldn't band together and just literally save the human race. It was all about money. It was all about politics. It was all about big companies doing whatever they wanted to.
No, I don't need
like,
to
everybody
watch...
dies.
Yeah, I don't need to watch this movie anymore. Thank you.
But my point of the movie was like in the beginning, like when they found out, they just used the military to like produce. Like the military played a small role. It just played to like get them from point A to point B. They're like, oh, right. You have potentially like world-ending news here. We're gonna fly you in, a C-130 to get here immediately. Yeah,
it's that was logistical writer's tool.
Yeah, and then the rest was just like instead of the military doing something or NASA doing something, it was like an Amazon doing something or SpaceX doing something or the billionaires of the world that are like, well, we can do it because we have these resources. Money. Yeah. So, that was the only movie that was like, well, the military doesn't really play a role. I also think that it's that it is a situational dependent thing. Like if the end of the world is like inevitable, like there is an like a third party, if you will, out of space that like a comet, there's nothing really the military can do except try to blow it up.
Right.
But if it's like a zombie apocalypse or it's like a disease, there's a lot of things the military can do.
There's a lot of resources, yeah. It depends on the disaster.
I think so.
Like you're saying, situational dependent.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about one of the situations. Let's talk about another comet-related situation. Let's talk about Armageddon.
Armageddon.
98. We had a big disaster movie. They kind of come in waves, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Where 98 we had two of the same one. We had Armageddon and Deep Impact. I've not seen Deep Impact, but I saw Armageddon, and that's where they get Bruce Willis and his crack team of oil rig workers to basically stop this giant comet. They want to blow it apart, right? So like split and like miss the Earth, right? And it's just like I love all the time condensing that they do. As it's it happens in 18 days. They train them up in like a day or two on this massive equipment. Like, if you ever, like, there was a documentary on Netflix about the Challenger program, and they had that teacher. And I always thought, that the woman who was the teacher that was going to be she was going to be like a passenger. It was like a pleasure cruise. She was going to sit there in the chair. But, like, no, she had to undergo, like, massive amounts of training. She had to basically become, like, an astronaut in, like, like less than a year or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love that. I just love the, it's a little bit more hopeful than Don't Look Up, probably.
Yeah, no. It's like, in Don't Look Up, they hire, who's the guy that played Ron Perlman? And he's like some salty-ass veteran who's like, says racial slurs and everything.
Of course.
And he's just like, he's an American hero. It's like, we could use, technology to break this comedy apart, but we need a face of this. We need a sacrifice. So they're like, sign this guy up. And as he's going up, he's like, just want to say hi to the gays and then the Indians, not the ones on the elephants, but like the ones with bows and arrows.
Oh, jeez.
It's so politically.
They want to get it all in.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny. But anyways, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Armageddon. Basically, the military is just kind of like the womb within which all this kind of stuff takes place, because they got all the research. They got these like top secret like spacecraft and like the little like rover things that they have, like the giant rovers and stuff. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's super epic. Have you seen it? Like, it's been a long. You haven't seen it?
I probably
have you seen Deep Impact?
No. Yeah, I probably have seen these movies.
We're gonna have to skip Deep Impact.
Yeah, I haven't. I think I definitely know about Armageddon because like they launch them into space, right? And
there's two. Yeah, they have two spaceships that they launch, and one of them actually ends up crashing. And then, like, Ben Affleck's in it, and they get separated, I think, and they go to the other spacecraft, and they grab, like, the equipment there, and it ends up, like, they have to get out of there. Time's running out. Bruce Willis is there, and he sacrifices himself, and he's like, and Liv Tyler's his daughter, and, and stuff like that. And she's like, no, my father's up there, She doesn't sound like I do, but because I've been sick.
My father's up there.
My father's up there.
Where's my cigarettes?
Choose Batman or choose Spider-Man. Oh, I messed that up.
You did.
But yeah, he blows himself up, and they save the day, and that's that famous, Aerosmith song. And I wake just to hear you breathing. I don't want to close my eyes.
I don't want to fall asleep.
There you go.
I miss you, baby.
And I don't want to miss the thing. Won an Oscar for that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Super epic movie.
I gotta add that to my karaoke list.
And we're just gonna skip right over Deep Impact because neither of us have seen it.
Yeah.
But you should definitely.
Unless Chris, you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually prefer it over Armageddon because Armageddon to me is insanely unrealistic.
Insanely unrealistic.
Insane.
Like even within the guidelines of an action movie, it's like no. But Deep Impact, it takes, instead of 18 days, it takes course over like 2 years.
Oh.
So it's a little more realistic in that way, but also...
Are you telling me you can't take oil divers or oil drillers and train them to be astronauts?
Yeah, real slam on oil rig drillers out of nowhere.
Hey, my grandfather was an oil rig foreman, and he's a very smart dude, but I'm
he's
pretty
an
sure
astronaut.
the guys underneath him were not.
Yeah.
But
whoa, big slam on Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
He's a geologist.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Anyway, but in Deep Impact, the military plays more of a role as in like population control because it's 2 years, and so they have to institute martial law and all these things. And also in Deep Impact, they have a plan, and it's not we're going to split an asteroid in half. It's we dug these caves in the limestone hills of, I think, North Dakota, and they're going to basically put a couple million people in there to like save them.
Right.
And the military has to like institute that.
They have to do a lottery.
It's a national lottery, yeah.
What are the other countries doing? Like, this is like what America's doing. They're like, does England have the same thing? Like, we have our own mountains?
In classic American movie fashion, they don't talk
Fuck everybody else. This is America.
There's not one word, although the mission to go and try and like deflect the comet is a joint mission between the U.S. and the Russians.
Very hopeful kind of thing, yeah.
The Russians are in charge of the nuclear bombs.
Ironic.
Yeah. So, I mean, but in Deep Impact, the military's role is more realistic, I guess. They're more of like
I think
force.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
In my opinion sways now. It's like instead of calling the military the saving force I would call them more of a facilitator.
Facilitator.
Of
course.
Because, I mean, it's not like, in Armageddon or in Deep Impact, they are recruiting soldiers to, geologist soldiers that, soldiers that happen to work in geology department of the Army.
Yeah.
That, do this shit. They're like, okay, PFC Brian, I know you were a geologist, so we're going to send you in space. No, they, gather actual scientists and actual normal civilians and just facilitate their movement to where they can put them in a position to where they can save the day.
Yeah.
So we're just we're support.
Right.
They're ultimate cheerleader.
Ultimate, yeah. I mean, now, with, but not always. I'm trying to think of, movies we got, Edge of Tomorrow on here, where, well, he's not really, where I'm thinking of, where they are the saviors. We have Edge of Tomorrow and the Tomorrow War. A lot of Tomorrows.
And then Halo.
But Edge of Tomorrow, Halo. I mean, any Halo.
Yeah,
of course he's going to be.
Yeah, Master Chief has to save the
savior
day.
of the world, savior of the universe, actually, because he's Master Chief, because he can do that. But pretty much everyone else in the Halo series is useless, except for what's that Sergeant Apone? He's not Apone, but he's modeled after Apone.
Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson. There
Sergeant
you go.
Avery Johnson.
We talked about him before, but let's talk about Edge of Tomorrow a little bit. Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, I love it.
Okay, yeah,
They're coming out with a new one, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sequel.
That's cool. It was a cool movie.
I don't know what they're gonna do because, I mean, obviously
he lost the gift at the end.
Well, he got it back at the end.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah, because the way that he jumps back is he's in the water and the mother brain is there, and he gets slacked by the mother brain's tentacles, but he drops the grenades, and it blows the thing up, and then that blood from the grenade explosion seeps into his body, and he jumps back even further to where they're all just dead because he killed the mother brain, right? And so that's how it starts. It starts at the very beginning, before the invasion, and he knows what would have happened, and he goes and says hi to Emily Blunt. She doesn't know because she hasn't lived through the events, but and that's how the movie ends,
Interesting.
But super great, Tom Cruise. That why this movie is so great, because it has a real kind of hero's journey. He starts as a selfish guy.
Yeah, he starts as a coward.
Yeah, he starts as a coward.
He's just some fly boy.
He's like psyops, and he's civil affairs.
Yeah,
basically.
and he's just I'm not.
He's the
trying to
PR
fight.
guy.
Yeah, he's I'm not fighting.
He's trying to sell the war.
this uniform.
Yeah, and then he tries to blackmail that general. And the general's like, "Oh, okay, then we're just gonna put you in a private's uniform and put you on the front lines."
Yeah, because he's a major.
Yeah, but it's all civil affairs. It doesn't really. He's not a military man. He's a military mindset.
He's just
He's the PR guy.
He's a Captain America originally.
Well, yeah, in terms of being a figurehead. Yeah,
figure.
He's the face of the operation.
Face of the operation.
But then, he eventually becomes, through that training, he becomes the Delta Force. A one-man Delta Force, if you will.
Hey, repetition's the name of the game, man.
That's right.
But it's super cool. I mean, that is a good, because, the way they win is soldiers win that fight.
You talk about, the infantry and us closing the distance, taking that last 100 yards, last 100 yards belongs to the infantry. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much a relentless enemy in Edge of Tomorrow, because they're unfeeling, unthinking. They're like a hive mind. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want resources. They just want to destroy. Destroy. So it would be
assimilate.
It's appropriate that you would have to send an equally savage force against them.
When you get down to the 10-yard line, you're gonna need my Rangers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that movie. It's good. I like the technology. I like the exoskeleton type,
Yep.
We're just going to get in this, and all these guns are cool.
Yeah.
They did that movie very well.
They
Even
did.
though Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, he did a good job in that movie.
He's a good actor, yeah.
He's a good actor.
He's a One thing Tom Cruise is he's a committed actor.
Absolutely.
Anything he does, any role he undertakes,
he wants
immersion. He wants to fully train.
Yeah, he's a pilot.
Well, yeah, I
he
think
has a pilot license.
They want. I don't know. Does he actually fly the plane, or
no? They wouldn't let him fly the
jets.
The jets, because obviously that's a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment.
Yeah,
that they can't
even
just
Tom
be
Cruise.
Oh, here's the keys.
Doesn't have that kind of weight. Yeah,
but he is a licensed pilot, and he does all his own stunts on what the Mission Impossibles and everything.
There's that famous jumping over the rooftop, jumping through the gap thing where he breaks his ankle and. Yeah, it just keeps on trucking, man.
Just keeps on trucking. So kudos to you, Tom Cruise, but you can be a nicer guy.
Yeah.
From what we've seen.
Just believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Just throw away Xenu.
Yeah.
Grab Jesus.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. We mentioned briefly Halo.
Right.
let's talk about that one.
This is another world-ending, universe-ending
event. Just because the new
event.
Halo's out, Halo Infinity's
Halo's
out,
up.
and I've heard nothing but good things about
People
it.
keep asking me on stream when I'm going to play it.
That's
and I
strictly
look forward to
Xbox.
it. Yeah, it's Xbox. Yeah,
And a live-action Halo show is coming to
You're
Yeah.
right. There's a
Paramount
live-action
Plus.
Halo show coming out. That
Is
actually
that,
looks...
is that on Amazon or Paramount?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Ooh,
I'm excited for
Paramount
that.
Plus. Yeah, it
Dude,
looks...
honestly, Paramount Plus is coming out with some fire.
I mean, I don't know what the
Yellowstone's
story's
also
gonna be.
good, but that has nothing
I
to do
love
with this.
Yellowstone. Don't get me started.
They're trying to
I mean,
end
technically-
his land ownership.
Yeah, I was telling Izzy the other day about Yellowstone. It's a good one.
I
Beth
just like
is a
Rip.
psychopath.
He's such a badass.
Rick is a badass.
Rip.
Rip. Oh, Rip is a hard prick, dude. That dude.
Kevin Costner?
No,
Or-
that's
or-
John Dutton. Rip
Okay.
is who plays Rip.
Cole Hauser.
Cole, I love
A very
Cole Hauser.
doughy Cole Hauser.
Oh no, doughy. Cole
no,
Hauser.
but it suits him.
Okay,
It
all
does.
I like
He's-
Cole Hauser.
He's the muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always liked Cole Hauser.
Yeah,
I don't know
he's
why. He's like one of those dudes that's like,
He's a straight NCO
Yeah.
in that movie or in that TV series. It's really good. You should check it out. A lot of adult.
plays a
things
pretty
on it.
cold-hearted neo-Nazi in Higher Learning. That's one of the first time I ever saw him in that one. Yeah,
Anyways, back to Halo.
yeah.
Anyways,
And Tears of the Sun. And
Hold on,
connected
I
with the
just
military.
can we go back that he had to say cold-hearted neo-Nazi?
Right, instead
there's
of
this
like
big-hearted-
warm-hearted,
like-
like
big-hearted
really
neo-Nazi.
generous
Neo-Nazi.
neo-Nazi.
neo-Nazi with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super inclusive neo-Nazi.
Super, yeah.
Oh my god, that's
In
funny.
a role that will shock you. Yes, Halo.
Halo, Master Chief saving the Earth from the Didact who tries to use the composer.
Have
to
you played
destroy
Halo
Earth.
4? Because
I've played Halo 4.
I've only played 1 and 2. So I know about the Flood. I know about the Ring. You know, the Covenant and
I
stuff.
played 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think 4 was and then Reach, and then 4 was the last one I played, and that was a while ago. That was maybe when did that come out? 2014, I want to say.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah, right. Because it was right before I left for basic training. But yeah, there's like this the Didact. Those are those like geographical looking things. They're or geometric. Excuse me, wrong word.
Yeah.
Geometric looking shapes and aliens, and yeah, that one was a little weird. Definitely not the best Halo made, but Master Chief, as always, does what he does best and kicks ass and takes names.
Self-sacrificing hero, man.
Yep. I'm
Does
here
he ever-
to chew
yeah.
bubblegum and kick Covenant ass.
And I'm all out of bubblegum. Does he ever... Master Chief seems like a pretty kind of... I'm not going to say like one note or not a very layered character. Does he ever like question anything? Does he ever like, go against company orders? Does he ever kind of like, have like any kind of dynamic aspects to his character? Or is he pretty much like, hey, I'm here to kill. I'm here to go. Let's go.
He has some conflicting moral things. I think with
I'd say he's dynamic. Just
he's very dynamic.
If only through his relationship with Cortana.
Yeah, it's or
Okay.
through Cortana.
Cortana. Okay.
Yeah,
There's
she's like his.
dynamism there.
She's
Yeah.
the beauty to his beast.
Yeah, even though she's like a
little
hologram.
bit.
Yeah, she's like a hologram. She's not a real person, right?
No.
How dare you?
She's like his,
How dare
his
you take
AI
away
assistant.
humanity? No, yeah, I know. Yeah, I knew that. She's cool. She gets prettier and prettier as she
not
gets
true.
better rendered.
It's not true though. They really
It's
did.
not?
They really did her dirty. I've
Oh,
heard on the new
no.
one. They like made her. They made her flat chested. It's fucking.
They
And everyone's
really.
pissed about it because like there's before and after. They're
Oh.
like she used to be like hourglass in the older ones, and now she's just like a straight line.
Yeah,
And
very
people
important that your
people are
AI has
pissed. I know.
curves.
I know. It's really funny. It's like Twitter is blowing up about it.
No,
Yeah, it's pretty
Twitter.
funny. As to our women viewers that are very far and few in between, that we respect all humans
Yes, we
or all
respect-
female
we
body
respect
shapes.
all female body shapes. Yes, there
Yes.
we go.
But
Good save.
Cortana, yeah, she's like his. I'm trying to word. I can't think today.
She's the yin to his yang. She's
yeah,
that, she
she's
kind
like
of
his. I wanted
brings
to
that out
say
of him. That character development.
She's the guy
The
in the chair.
muse.
She's the guy in the chair. She's the girl in the chair. She's the flat-chested girl in the chair.
Yeah, she's the muse. She is his muse, and he will get emotional if like she's like suffering or something like that.
Okay, good.
But yeah.
She can feel what he's feeling.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's a perfect example right there, because he's still military,
Yeah.
like military saving the world. But there you go again. That's the type of conflict that only guns and grit can really take care
right,
of.
right.
Yep. Unless we go to what is this? Or the Mist.
We can talk about the Mist.
You want to talk about the Mist?
Yeah, I love the Mist, man. The Mist is a 2007 movie, Frank Darabont directed, based off of a
We've
story
talked about
it before.
this one.
I
It's
think
a
we
good
talked
one.
about sad endings. I think
Sad
downer
endings, yeah.
Very sad ending.
Very.
But in
Spoilers
this one,
ahead.
if you remember, one of the characters, the guy who plays, I forget the actor's name, but he plays Starkiller in the Force Unleashed video game series. He is a military guy. He's a low-ranking military guy. And he's in the store with him, and then they kind of like corner him or something. Like he starts freaking out, and they corner him and start asking him like,
What,
you know,
Sam Witwer?
Sam Witwer. There you go, Sam Witwer. And he freaks out, and they're saying like, where did this stuff come from? He's like, there's some experiments. They don't go into detail because it's really not pertinent to the story, you know. But he goes into like, there's something that they were doing where. Like they opened up like basically a portal, like an interdimensional portal. Yeah, Sam Witwer, Private Jessup. And
You know why he doesn't know much about it? Because he's a private.
he's a
That's why
Private Jessup.
It's like, you know, the side note, you know, it's really funny that like you join the military and then you come back home and all your civilian acquaintances now are like, so tell me, do aliens exist? And it's just like, I don't fucking know.
What do you
dude.
think? They don't tell me
I
these
mop a
things.
floor. Like,
Yeah.
I just mop a floor and get the
I'm in
shit
chem
smoked out of me.
debt. I'm a transportation. I drive a truck.
Yeah, I'm a truck driver, dude. What do you want to tell me if like the biofuel we are using is killing the planet? Then probably, but that's about all I know.
So basically, that's like a popular kind of trope in writing. Is basically you take the military and you say, well, the military's into all this stuff. They got Area 51. They got all this kind of thing. You know, they're the ones that
He's
are
got a
responsible.
secret clearance. He knows.
They release this evil upon the world, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's been used before in a lot of different. You guys can tell me what other movies or video games or television shows is the military responsible for the evil that gets unleashed on the world, you know, as opposed to being the ones that are kind of like the saviors or the logistics.
We covered that a little bit, in the zombie one, because it's a common trope in the zombies one. So
Yes.
It's like the military experiments, like what's
Planet
that
Terror,
new one?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Planet
That was
Terror.
also
Army of the Dead was like, they crashed the
Night of the
their
Comet.
experiment.
They're kind of the bad
Night
people.
of the Comet, that's
but
a
they
good
don't
one.
cause the comet. But obviously
They take over. You know,
they do
kinda-
bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Did you guys ever see The Quiet Earth? It was like an Australian production, like early
Australia.
1980s. Very good, cool premise.
Are you sure you're thinking that sounds like Mad Max?
No. I know that's a very distinct difference. There's less action in this one. It's very much a drama. Actually, it might have been New Zealand production.
1985.
There you go. The Quiet Earth. Dude wakes up alone. Everybody's gone, and then he meets like one or two other people, and you realize they're kind of like in this in between kind of dimension where there's an experiment that happened, and right as the experiment was happening, they all died. Like one dude was committing suicide. The main character, you find out he was like depressed about his life. The other girl was like, one guy was like getting killed, like drowned by like his former buddy, and the other girl. So like they're like in this weird kind of in between dimension, trying to get out of this pocket dimension, and then they kind of recreate the experiment, and then the end of the movie is just him like waking up in like some like another alternate reality. He doesn't get home. He just gets to
like,
another place.
Damn it!
Yeah, and so that's how the movie ends. Anyway,
Yeah,
side
it's
note,
New Zealand.
New Zealand production.
Yeah,
There you go. All right, so let's see. You know what I'd like to talk about for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Do it.
The Fallout series.
Yeah, go for it.
Now,
man.
principally, I don't want to be a poser. What I don't like doing is talking about things that I haven't played or watched or anything like that. So, principally, I'm going to talk about Fallout 3.
Sure,
that's
man.
the last
I've never played any of the Fallouts. So
Fallout's
that's all
great.
good.
Fallout series, if you like exploration, post-apocalyptic exploration, and this one has a cool twist to it because they kind of, it's like an alternate history where everything looks kind of very 1940s-ish, kind of in terms of design and stuff like that, almost like very kind of like steampunk or whatever in the design, but it's all like futuristic. It's like what we thought the future would be when we made like sci-fi movies in the 50s.
Like flying DeLorean.
Yeah, like the laser guns look all like bulbous and like wild and stuff, and the armor looks like
It's like Tomorrowland.
lots of gear. Yeah, lots of gears and like dials and stuff like that.
In the future, there will be,
Yeah, welcome to the future today.
Yeah.
It's like a little newsreel type thing. Yeah. But Fallout 3 takes place in Washington, D.C., the capital. and you're walking around, and so there's like the militaristic group that I want to talk about is the Brotherhood of Steel. They've kind of like reconstituted something of a like an order, basically, a very militaristic order, and they're kind of one of the major factions that you encounter. And you can choose to join them and help them. There's a cool like side mission where they have like, they call it what is it, the Iron Patriot, or the there's like a giant robot that they have reconstructed. It's like a super weapon from one of the previous wars that they reconstruct, and then you go on this all-out attack on this one base and stuff. Iron Patriot. It's like a patriotic kind of thing. I'm not going to be able to do it in time. Iron Patriot. Liberty Prime. Giant robot, Liberty Prime, walking tall. And it's pretty awesome. It's this giant, like, Iron Man looking robot thing. But anyway, I feel like that's one of the popular things to do in like a post-apocalyptic wasteland, is to have basically militarized. Things get militarized because once society falls, what order do you have? Like, what's the most likely group or kind of person that's going to help to kind of rebuild, or at least gain some semblance of order? It would be the military. You know what I mean? So that's why I like the Fallout series, why I like the Brotherhood of Steel. And then I know that in New Vegas there's Caesar's Legion, which is kind of like they kind of model themselves after like a Roman legion stuff. Very kind of, but I haven't played New Vegas. I know they're in New Vegas, but anyway, I just want to kind of put that in there in terms of like things that you see in pop culture where the military has a militaristic bent or a militaristic kind of format. But yeah, super cool. I'm trying to think if there's any other. If you guys can think of any other video games where there's like military type units that are either keeping it together or causing havoc, or it's just I think it's, if you want to think of like organization, that's one of those things. It's like military kind of most easily comes to mind because there's a structure to it. There's a format. There's a command structure. It's not democratic, but maybe in those kinds of situations, that's not what's called for. You need like strong leadership, or maybe even just like autocrat, like not democratic, like a singular leader, like like the Caesar.
Monocratic.
Exactly, monocratic.
Is that a word?
Monochromatic.
Monochromatic? I'm not
But
sure.
what do you think, man?
I'm sorry, I blanked out.
You're right
when you
over
were
there.
talking. I was researching something while you were talking.
I could tell. That's why I tried to keep going. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, he's obviously not paying attention to anything
I
I'm
wasn't paying
saying.
attention to a word you're saying because I said I'm gonna let you have this one.
Well, what do you got, man? What else?
What do I want to talk about? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got
disasters, military.
Can you guys talk about Pacific Rim a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure, man. Big old robots. Shit.
I
Pacific
mostly
Rim.
want you to answer the question, could you guys drift?
Oh,
Could we drift?
we? That's what I want to know. But Pacific, when it comes to Pacific Rim, are we drift compatible?
Really? I find that every time I see that, like when they're drifting, I think of Rick and Morty, the dragon, and Rick when they're like, "We're bonding."
Is that a fifth season? I haven't seen it. The fifth season.
Oh no, it's like, what is it, the fourth or third? I think it's the fourth season.
Okay,
but it's like dragons are considered sluts, and like they soul bond. They soul bond with people, and like when they're soul bonding, it's like an orgasmic sensation. So like,
of course it is.
Yeah, of course. So like all the dragons are like dragons. It's so they like go around just soul bonding with everybody, and it's really funny. So I was like, drifting, is that like a soul bond, or just like,
no,
I feel you?
No, it's absolutely that.
It's just a connection of the mind.
It's a mind connection. Yeah, it's basically like because they have the two hemispheres, the two sides of the robot have to be controlled by one person each. Yeah. So in order to connect and like coordinate movements, you have to be what's called drift compatible, and it's I think we could be, actually.
You think so?
Because I think you and I have, I think we have similar temperaments, if not similar personalities, but similar temperaments. Like we're kind of easygoing dudes.
Yeah.
We don't tend to be confrontational.
We're down to earth.
To earth. Yeah, we're pretty relaxed in our views,
I think,
all that kind of stuff. So I think we'd totally be.
I think we could drift, man.
What would our Jaeger name be?
Jaeger.
Jaeger. What would our robot's name be? Because they got like
let's call it Goliath because there's some Bible theme in there. Plus
yeah, we got to call it like but it's like Goliath, like Mega Bomb or something. Yeah, they have like two names, right?
Marauder.
Yeah, Goliath Marauder. Goliath Marauder is the name of our Jaeger, folks.
There you go.
And all you, if you guys got fan art out there,
and
make that Marauder.
And every time we call it, we'll call it Jägermeister.
A Jägermeister, yes.
Yeah, let's get in the Jägermeister.
Yep.
Yeah, Goliath Marauder, our Jägermeister.
Our Jägermeister, the master hunter. Yep.
Exactly. What weapon? Isn't each Jaeger have like their own?
We have like a special. What was our special? Is it like a bunch of speakers that roll out of us and they like blast like awesome heavy metal music at the monster and to confuse them? No, and then we just like poke them in the
eyes. Yeah. Like really long fingers.
Yeah, really long fingers to poke them in the eyes.
And I would want like a giant war axe made of like
an axe.
Laser.
That would be cool. Like a hot axe. Like a laser's edge to it. Like at the very,
like,
could slice through anything.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. Like a two-handed axe.
All right.
Something really destructive.
Yeah.
There you go, Chris. You happy we talked about Pacific Rim? Perfect. Well, the reason I zoned out of the last one.
What were you researching?
I actually skipped ahead and I was reading the fan question. And I got really confused because it's about 75th Ranger Regiment. And I had like doubts in my head and I was like, that's a good question because I don't remember.
Do you want to talk about that?
I don't know. Chris, you think we've talked enough about disasters?
I mean, that's really up to you guys.
I'm done with disasters, man.
Wait, let me do just one more quick check through. Oh, we didn't get to talk about Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, here we go.
Let's talk about that for real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica 2004 series, the remake, the reboot, which like went super dark. Like, because if you remember the 80s, you don't remember the 80s, obviously, because you weren't born. But
whatever.
The 80s
better than
the 80s TV show was like it was a little campy. You know, they had the Cylon robot. You know, civilization attacking the humans. Now, in the 2004 version with...
I remember 2004.
Katie Sackhoff as Starbuck, you know, and what is it? not James Earl Jones. Who was Admiral Adama? Too bad she won't live. Then again, who does? Edward James Olmos. Edward James Olmos is Admiral Adama. Basically, Humanity created the Cylons, and then there was a big war between the Suns and the humans, and then there was like a peace, like an armistice that was reached, and the Cylons left. They went to go do their own thing. Well, then, like hundreds of years later or whatever, they come back, and they just totally decimate all of society. They destroy every planet. They attack all the 12 colonies, and there's like 50,000 humans left alive on a bunch of ships. And the Galactica, the Battlestar is the name of like their battleships, which is like an old, like the pilot episode, they're about to be decommissioned as a ship because they're super old and super outdated. And they have like museum displays up all over it. And they're the last ship to defend humanity. Interesting. So like this is like one of those disaster type situations where the military is the lone they're the lone defenders of like all of humanity, you know. There's another ship that shows up, I think the Galactica, is it Razor? No, that was the name of the side battleship. You guys know which battleship I'm talking about with Ensign Rowe is the commander of that one. But there's another Battlestar that shows up that helps him out for a little bit. But wild, crazy, just crazy. Like I've said this before, but what I love about the first episode of the series is they've been decimated by society. You know, society's been decimated. The Cylons are on the attack, and they are always on this fleet. They're taught, and they can jump. They can do like space jumps, but the Cylons can track those space jumps. So they have it's like a 30-minute window or something before the Cylons pick up on their signal and are able to jump in and just start attacking them again. So by the time the series starts, they've been up for like a week. Nobody's slept because they don't have time, and they're working quadruple shifts and stuff like that. They're all like threadbare and like worn out because they just can't get away because they only have a 30-minute window before they have to jump again. You know, I love the way that it starts off. It's like super dark and super. It's real depressing at times, and it's a kind of an exploration of the darker side of humanity. But Battlestar Galactica, they are the saviors of humanity. The military is the best. I guess this would technically be like the Space Navy.
The Space Navy?
Yeah, Space Navy. Yeah. At Pandora, or Pandoricum.
Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Now we can go to
now
the fan
we can transition to the fan question. But before we do that,
oh yes,
we got to do a big shout out to Jonathan Goddard, who bought us a lot of coffees.
Thank you,
He
John.
bought us a lot of coffees,
amazing,
man. So thank you so very much. That was extremely, extremely generous of you. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, you can buy us coffees through
called Buy Me a Coffee.
It's called Buy Me a Coffee.
Which is, I think it's such a clever name.
It is cool. I mean, it's a donation platform to where if you're feeling generous or you want to support the podcast, you can go through the links on our Instagram or on our YouTube and donate by buying us a coffee, essentially. And, all the proceeds go right back into the podcast. We just bought these new microphones to make us sound a lot sexier. So thank you for everyone.
There's actually nothing wrong with my voice right now. It's just the microphone
filter.
It makes me sound manlier. Yeah.
Exactly, because we all knew that was one of Israel's downfalls. Right. We're like, how?
Sound
in
like
the last podcast meeting, we're
child.
like, how can we make Israel sound manlier?
How can we make him sound more like Willem Dafoe from the Green Goblin?
Yeah. Make up your mind, Spider-Man.
Choose Spider-Man.
But thank you, John. That was extremely generous. If you guys feel generous, like I said, check out the links to Buy Me a Coffee on our Instagram or on our YouTube page. So, this fan question, the one that got my gears turned.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, so it's from Tor Blacken18 on YouTube. Thanks for asking, Tor Blacken18. And their question is, the Regimental Reconnaissance Company, do you have to be part of the 75th Ranger Regiment to qualify for selection, or can any branch of the military try for selection? Basically, RRC, RRD, Ranger Reconnaissance Detachment, Ranger Reconnaissance Company, is their tier 1 unit within the 75th. So they are like special reconnaissance to the max. You have to go through a selection process after regiment to get there, and they're like the big titties on campus for 75th. So as far as knowing, do I have to spend time in regiment? I think you do. I was actually really curious because I know in Delta, you can go to CAG selection from the big army. Like, they pull dudes from 82nd all the time. They pull dudes from, soft units. But I was doing a little research, and this memo, I found a memo online, and it is from 2011. I mean, it's over 12 years ago.
Wow. And
I'll just read you what it says as far as qualifications. Okay. I mean, the subject line is, the 75th Ranger Regimental Reconnaissance Company is seeking the very best soldiers within the U.S. Army to fill operational positions. So in my head, that's from anywhere.
Right.
But then I read, to be considered for hire, you must meet the following prerequisites. Within the MOS series of 11 Bravo or 11 Charlie, so infantry or mortar, having served time within the 75th Ranger Regiment or other special operations units. And the next one, within the MOS of 13 Fox, 25 Bravo, 68 Whiskey, so pretty much forward observers, comms dudes, or medics, if currently serving within the U.S. 75th, within the 75th Ranger Regiment or other special operations units, have a minimum of 1 year rated leadership time, must be Ranger qualified, airborne qualified, if not already airborne qualified, must be willing to volunteer, GT score of 110 or higher, must be able to obtain Class 2 Halo flight physical, because you're getting Halo certified, and have a secret security clearance, and must be able to attain top secret clearance. And then obviously the no UCMJ accidents, no alcohol related, able to do the regimental fitness standards and ruck 50 pounds dry plus water at a rate of 4 to 5 miles an hour for extended duration.
Very specific.
Very specific. But pretty much that was in 2011. So it does seem like you need either time in 75th Ranger Regiment under your belt, or you need to come from a special operations unit. Okay. So that's going to be a pretty big thing, just because in special operations, the dynamic is much different than big army. So I would assume, just based off this memo, that you have to serve within the 75th or a similar special operations unit. So, all right. Might be different now, though. Who knows?
This is from 2011. At least 10 years old. Yeah.
It's 10 years old, but it sounds pretty accurate to me.
Right.
So, Tor Blacken18.
It's a very, very pointed, very specific fan question. I appreciate that.
That is a very specific, because I mean, there's even have spent almost 4 years in regiment. my knowledge of RRC is very minimal.
Huh.
Yeah, they are very low key. And you know, it might be just because I was at 275, which is on the complete other side of the country.
Oh, and they're not at Fort Lewis?
No, they're not at Fort Lewis. They're at Fort Benning.
Okay.
Yeah, they're next to the new, basically. Yeah, they're at Fort Benning, essentially, next to 375.
Okay.
And, like, when I was going through RASP, I'd see them drive quads around and everything. And you're just like, who are those guys? Or even when we were doing, like, MLAT together, which was, like, our airfield takeover training, you would see dudes that you're like, who the fuck is that? And you're like, oh, it's an RRC guy. And you're like, I don't know anything about these dudes. But, yeah.
Interesting.
I hope that answers your question.
With that, let's do our game.
Let's play the game.
It's game time, baby.
It's game time. Who's got the game?
Cam, you do.
I got the game. I am the game master. Ha ha ha. I am the master of the game. Okay. Are you ready for this game?
I don't know about this.
This one is just for Izzy,
All
the
right.
master of disasters.
Oh, no.
This game is
true.
2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
Rules are the same as they ever were. I'll give you 3 statements about a movie, TV show, or video game, and you have to tell me which one is the lie.
Okay.
Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. And Chris, just to make sure I'm doing this right. It's okay to say the name of the movie, right?
Yeah, you have to, so you know what
Okay.
you're talking about.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about this movie, and then you show me. Whoa,
Jesus
everything. Hey,
Christ.
what's going on over there? That's why I'm throwing that thing away.
Playing
because
drums.
Yeah.
Chris got a new drum set for Christmas. He's just practicing. Okay. So,
Janky.
are you ready, sir?
Let's do it.
All right. First one is, as we were stating at the beginning of this episode, Armageddon, 1998.
Okay.
The first one is, Ben Affleck asked director Michael Bay, would it be easier for NASA to train astronauts how to drill rather than training drillers to be astronauts? Michael Bay told Affleck to shut the hell up. Next, the scenes on the oil rig were shot on an actual oil rig off the coast of Galveston. And Galveston is in Texas.
I believe that. I believe that Galveston is in Texas.
Okay. This is one of Michael Bay's favorite films he ever made.
Oh, wow. Man. I mean, I'm sure he likes his own movies. I think that 13 Hours is the greatest Michael Bay movie because it's like based on a true story. He does a really good job, and it fits nicely with his aesthetic with blowing stuff up.
Tell me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live one, wasn't his favorite.
He didn't direct that.
Yeah, he did.
Michael Bay did not direct the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
He did, but that's not the point. The
What?
point is,
He did?
is this
There's
is
the
2
new
truths
ones,
and a
the
lie.
new ones.
Oh, the new one.
Not the old, not the 80s one.
Okay,
Focus
right.
up, fellas.
Okay.
Focus up. What is it?
Which
Which
one
one
is
is
a
it?
lie?
I think it's the Ben Affleck one is so compelling because you just want that to be true. I think the first one's a lie.
The Ben Affleck
The
one?
Ben Affleck one, yeah.
You were wrong. Michael
man.
Bay hates this movie.
Oh, he hates this movie.
Just like everyone should.
Uh,
I'm just reading what Chris wrote. Chris is speaking through me.
Armageddon's a terrible movie.
Right now. We've soul bonded. Me and
I've-
Chris are soul bonding over here.
I've heard Ben Affleck say quite a few dumb things over the course of my life, so I probably should believe that.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think what he said was dumb, though.
no. Isn't
think
it
he
easier
poked a
for
giant
NASA to
plot
train
hole.
astronauts how to drill rather than training drillers to be astronauts? Bay told Affleck to shut up. Hey, we don't need your common sense here,
You're an
guy.
actor. Your job
You're being
is to
paid
act,
to act.
not to think.
Don't act smart. Okay, next one. Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
Glenn A. Larson, who'd been trying to revive his franchise for a year, was unhappy about the reboot and the idea of making Starbuck into a woman in particular. There's a character named Starbuck.
yeah, she's the main character,
Oh, interesting.
and it was a guy in the original series.
Okay. In the reboot, the Cylons were originally going to be written as the good guys, with the humans being the aggressors.
Interesting.
Finally, the original 1978 title Adam's Ark was changed to Star Worlds to try and capitalize off the success of Star Wars, before eventually settling on Battlestar Galactica.
I think the last one, or I think the let's see. They all sound really compelling.
Hello.
Hello. Let's say the last one is a lie.
What, the original 1978 Adam's Ark?
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Oh.
You can't handle the lie. The lie is, in the reboot, the Cylons were originally going to be written as good guys and the humans being the aggressors. That is the lie. Call yourself a Battlestar Galactica.
I wonder what his rationale was for not liking that Starbuck became a girl.
I think because I've read numerous biographies about him. Not really. Maybe he's just a raging misogynist.
Okay.
Maybe he just really wanted Starbuck to be a dude.
Maybe that was just his.
Maybe he's the one
maybe
he's the one that screwed Cortana over.
Yeah, maybe he's the one that wanted her to be flat chested.
Yeah. Okay.
Just randomly.
Next and finally, are you ready?
Yes.
And finally, Pacific Rim.
Okay, I gotta get this one right.
Yeah. First one. For the robot cockpit scenes, Del Toro had his team build the interior of a full-scale Jaeger head.
Okay.
Next, 3 different endings were shot for the film. And finally, concept artists drew up 20 different kaiju and had 20 different Jaegers in preparation for the film.
I think maybe the middle one is the lie. The first one and the last one sound like they're pretty kind of productional stuff, you know. I think he actually did have them build an entire head, you know.
Congratulations!
Hey, I got one right.
You got everyone wrong.
Oh, man.
Okay, the lie is concept artists drew 20 different kaiju and 20 different Jaegers.
Well, you just must have known
The
what he
reason for
wanted.
this is a lie is because they made about 100 of each.
Oh, they made even more.
They made way more than 20. Well, congratulations for being the biggest loser of
the
the
worst game player ever.
It's okay.
It's a
It happens
honor.
to the best of us.
And to me.
And to you. It's all right. How'd you like that game?
That was good. That was fun.
That was fun.
I just like reminiscing.
Those
about
were hard,
movies.
though.
Obviously, I don't know as much about them as I think I do.
Yeah, no, but those were like, none of those were blatant lies.
Yeah, they were all kind of semi-believable.
Yeah, it was just, you had a 33% chance.
I'm getting better.
Yeah, Chris is evolving. He's evolving and we are devolving.
Faster, smarter. He has the technology.
Yes. And you know what? You have the technology.
Good segue.
The listeners in their cars.
segue.
Because this is the end of the episode. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin
I hate
your
to
day.
let you down. It's
Hate
a
to let you
disaster
down.
that this episode is ending.
But this episode
See how we bring it full circle?
over. We hope you enjoyed listening to this one from your cars.
In your car.
Mm-hmm. Israel.
Folks, if you want to get a hold of us, you can check us out on Instagram at PCFM Podcast, or you can write us an email at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. We have YouTube episodes. Go to our YouTube channel, PCFM Podcast. We always have extra content, and you get to see our handsome faces as well.
And you can see my awesome shirt.
My awesome shirt, too. We both have pretty awesome shirts, actually.
I think my shirt.
Mine's like a retro 1980s Hellblade.
And my shirt says, I love my hot Chinese dad.
It's amazing. It doesn't really need any explanation beyond that. But we love you, folks. We appreciate your support. Thanks for buying us all the coffees. With that being said, cue music.